Hello and welcome to what's going to be the last in this series, at least for the moment, of A Little Attic Music. Thanks for joining me again. It's been an interesting journey for me, and I've kind of been making it up as I go along day by day in this enforced solitude. But it's been a good thing for me in many ways, and I hope you've enjoyed some of what I've done in the main. Although not exclusively, but mainly looking at the work of Neil Gammack, who I worked with in the late 70s, around in the early 80s, very early. Revisiting that. And we started out as jobbing songwriters, actually, in that kind of almost a tin pan alleyway, working for what was then Ringo Starr's publishing company, Treasury Music. I'm reading the odd note here because there's stuff I want to, since this is the final one, I just want to wind up in a bit slightly more comprehensive way. So that jobbing writer thing evolved into this band Night Shift we formed with Ian Thompson on the drums. And, I've said that, part of the reason for doing this is I always thought that Neil's work is not as recognised as it might be. This is a very, very token way of addressing it for me. But having said that, when you look closely at his CV, as it were, it's pretty impressive. I mean, way before the band and us writing and things like that, he wrote for 784 Company, and then he went on to do Wildcat. We wrote BBC radio plays together, music for them. So his range was very impressive. It's just that for whatever reason, many people don't know the work. And I think these songs are so well crafted, some of them, that they survive over 40 years. Some of them have never been recorded before, which is why I'm doing them here. So yeah, unsung, but those that did know the work, I think did appreciate it. I seem to remember when we were with EMI, I'm sure I overheard somebody in the business sense, or maybe it was with the Ringo thing, describing Neil as the new McCartney. And I think in some ways he was. It just didn't quite work out, but he had that level of talent, I think. I don't think he was ever as prolific again in the later life. I mean, we parted company in the early 80s. I went into photography, dabbled in music a bit, but Neil continued to do music-related stuff. In his later life, I don't think he recorded at all due to illness, really. So I felt lucky to be. I feel lucky to have been involved in what turns out to have been a really purple patch by him. So today's final piece. It's called All My Life. And I was reminded of it just the other day. I was looking at Nick Cave's online, the Red Hand Files, I think it's called. Yeah. I very much recommend it. You just subscribe to it. It's kind of open forum. People can ask him questions, and he talks about his life. And he has a great way of, very eloquent guy, I think, with some great insights, lots of life experience to share, and it's helpful stuff, actually, and interesting. And lots of people like him. He's an incredible musician, of course. So I was reading this thing about the lockdown, and of course he's inundated with these questions about, wow, when's the new album coming? It's going to be great. We know that. You've got all this time to create, produce. And I think, I don't want to misrepresent him, but as I remember, he kind of thought that himself, I think, maybe initially. But came to the conclusion quite quickly that this time was a unique opportunity to actually reflect, to be quiet, to go inwards, whatever, to find, to use the time profitably in a way that maybe one hadn't in the past. And he writes much, much more eloquently than I'm describing it just now, but it might be worth looking at if you're interested. Anyway, I immediately thought of this song of Neil's, which is written, well, again, like the rest of them, 40 years ago, more maybe. Quirky little thing. I mean, we never have dreamt of recording it. I wish we had. It's called All My Life. and it opens all my life, been wondering what I wanted to do. On it goes. Now that's a lot of wanting. A lot of wanting to stop suddenly, which is what happens in the song, really. And it's a really beautiful notion. So it was a Nick Cave thing that reminded me of that song, and I've always liked it. And of course, it's rearranged for acoustic guitar. I mean, these things, when we fooled around with them, even there was a big band sound to them. But this one never really got off the runway. So what else? Yeah, there we have it. Neil would possibly be turning in his proverbial grave to hear me talk about his work in this way. I mean, he was a man of few words, Neil, really. And I was reminded of him not that long ago, and often reminded of Neil when I look at the work and the thoughts of artists and great artists. If one's allowed to describe artists as great artists these days, I don't know if one is, but you know what I mean. And I was looking at an interview by a photographer called William Eggleston. He's represented here with a beautiful signed portrait. One of his pictures of the woman in the yellow dress. And Eggleston is just, it's beyond, literally it's beyond words what he gets up to, or got up to. He's quite old now. But it's a documentary. It's called Williams Eggleston in the Real World. It's a beautiful piece of work. And not an easy guy to film, I would have thought. But towards the end, the director, very sensitive soul, very understanding of the work itself. And he's got Eggleston out in some little kind of cafe in the middle of the night and chatting away. He's winding up the film in a way, and he's saying, "Look, William, can I ask you about the kind of meaning of your work? Can you talk about it?" And of course, he won't be drawn at all. He's pretty inebriated, has to be said. And he said, "Well, look, having failed on every front, can you tell us what's about, blah, blah. Can you tell us what you enjoy? What is it in life that gets you, and blah, blah, blah." And he looked him straight in the eye, takes a draw on his cigarette, and he says, "I like to do it." I like to do it. That's the end of it, No. Neil liked to do it. He sure liked to do it. And in that respect, he was the real thing. An anecdote just occurs, actually. We were in London chasing a publishing deal and, completely broke, sleeping on people's floors with our cassettes and our wee tunes and things like that. And we're staying in a friend's apartment. She'd gone out to work, never stayed there before, didn't know the place at all. But Neil, in the morning, and he had coffee and a few fags and things, and he started almost shaking. Not the coffee, not with, alcohol withdrawals, but he wanted to write music, and he couldn't because he didn't have an instrument. There was stuff going on in his head, and he was in a bad way, actually. And he started to rummage round the house, almost like a junkie looking for a fix. And cupboards, wardrobes, and he found, I think it was a 2-string banjo, and he sat down, huge sigh of relief, and he started to write. If that's not the real deal, I'm kind of romanticising it a bit, but he was, yeah. There were occasions I would give him, more than once actually, the lyric sheet, finished lyrics I slaved away on. And he would look at it and go, pick up the guitar, and before he left the room, an hour later, it was done. It was done. Beyond me. Other times, of course, he would slave away for months over rhyming one word, but his range was fantastic. And it's been good to do this. I mean, I hope I've done some kind of justice. And thank you. I think that's it. This work might reappear along with some more. And the reason that this thing came about was that, as I explained at the very beginning, I had embarked on doing an album. Again, very simply. It's guitar, voice live, in Alan Bertrand's studio in Perthshire. I'm hoping to head up back there to do it. And so the work might be available along with some other things on a CD. This is very, very primitive stuff, though. Just a final word to a neighbour, Lee Patterson, great man, on all fronts. Great musician, great all kinds of things, lead as artist. Who provided me with this mic. I don't have a mic like this, that's for sure. A little interface. So it's all been done at a distance, and I sweat blood even to try and get it working at all. But he's helped from a distance, and every day I've given him my wee card with or wee USB with the files, and he's sprinkled as much stardust as he can on them. Of course, there's very little you can do. It's one microphone in a room that's not meant to, little attic, it's not meant to be used for recording, but Lee's just been fantastic here, and I'm so indebted to him. And that is it. And I haven't been prattling on, but there we are. And so the final piece is All My Life by Neil Gammack. Thank you very much. Thanks.
All my life, been wondering what I wanted to do. Yesterday was a special day. Made up my mind to do nothing. Nothing at all. All my life, been wondering who I wanted to be. Yesterday was a special day. Made up my mind to be no one really. No one at all. Sometimes you gotta lose yourself before you find yourself. Sometimes you gotta lose yourself before you find yourself. I found out it's not what you do, it's more what you don't. More what you don't, more what you don't. It's a cool rain falls on me. Sometimes you got to lose yourself before you find yourself. Sometimes you gotta lose yourself before you find yourself now. Sometimes